Hi everyone! Happy Beltane. And if you don't do Beltane, then happy Friday to you. Today, besides being Beltane, it is also day one of Heather Carter's 31 Days of Witchcraft Challenge. And today's prompt is your witchcraft secular, spiritual, or religious? And how does this influence your practice? I would have to say my witchcraft is spiritual and religious because I incorporate my religion into all of my witchy work. um, whatever spell or working I do, I tend to call upon my deities for assistance. And so I think that's what makes it religious. And then my my spells and things are always at least partially, if not totally, focused on improving my own spiritual well-being or um, the spiritual well-being of a loved one, something like that. So there's usually a spiritual aspect to whatever I'm doing. Even if it's a really simple thing, I like to add a little bit of that in there. Um, and the question, how does this influence your practice? I think because my witchcraft is spiritual and religious, it affects the choices that I make, the kinds of spells and things that I like to do. Um, For example, there was um, once a time where a person was doing harm to those who are nearest and dearest to me. And I did a whole spell around stopping this individual. My husband at the time gathered soil from a graveyard for me. It actually had a bone and maybe a little piece of headstone in it. But I put that in a jar with this person's photo, and on the back I had their name and my intentions of stopping them from doing harm, and it was sealed in with the dirt. And I created this sealed jar with all of this death and binding and stopping energy, and I sealed it with wax, and I burned a candle on top of it for days, focusing this energy into this spell to somehow drive this person's ability to harm away. And with a lot of death energy, like, this is going to stop. And I used the death card from a tarot deck as a focal point near this jar as I was burning the candle on top of it and focusing this energy for days. And when I wasn't doing this, I had it in the freezer, and then I would take it back out. And when the candle was burned down and I felt that I had spent enough time with it, I chucked this jar into the ocean. And while I was using a lot of death energy, I think because of my ethics, which are entwined with my religious beliefs. That was what stopped it from being a 100% full-on death curse that I was sending to this person, because I wouldn't have minded if they had passed on. But when I was asking for assistance, I was asking that this person be as good as dead to me, and that their ability to harm be brought to an end. And that was what kept it, in my opinion, from becoming a 100% curse. Yeah, I kind of left it in the hands of the gods. Like, I am sending all this death energy to their ability to do harm. I want it to die. I want this person to be as good as dead to me. And then whatever actually happens to them, I leave that in your hands. It's your will. But if I believed differently, if my witchcraft was totally separate from my religion and my spirituality, I probably could have taken it to a darker place. So that's a little example of how my religion affects my witchcraft practice. Thank you for staying with me in day 1 of Heather Carter's 31 Days of Witchcraft Challenge, and I hope to see you at the next one. Thank you. Bye.